Now, more on the latest terror attacks. CBS News senior national security analyst Juan Zarate has been following the events closely and joins us from our Washington bureau. Juan, good morning.
Good morning, Anthony.
Juan, ISIS claimed responsibility for this, but U.S. officials say they think it's more likely the work of al-Qaeda. Why is that?
Well, U.S. officials have been worried about the growing resurgence of al-Qaeda in South Asia. Al-Qaeda has had a long-standing presence with operatives in Bangladesh. And over the last 2 years, al-Qaeda and the Islamic State have laid claim to more and more attacks in Bangladesh. This is obviously the most significant of those attacks. And we know that both groups have pledged to actually attack further in that country. And so officials are looking carefully at who was responsible, but al-Qaeda and perhaps ISIS remain the prime suspects.
The location on this one seems puzzling, though, because you'd think there'd be a high concentration of Muslims in Bangladesh. Why would they pick this area?
Well, Bangladesh is a Muslim-majority country, Vanita, but there's a big battle underway, especially from violent Islamic extremist groups, both indigenous and groups like al-Qaeda and ISIS, to actually affect the trajectory of this country. And so this is why you've seen a wave of attacks against foreigners, against liberal voices, bloggers, minority groups, Hindus, priests. And so there's a battle underway to attack foreigners. And this site was a site where lots of foreigners congregated, and the attackers knew that they would have foreigners as victims. That's why they attacked where they did.
Juan, of course, earlier this week, we saw an attack at the Istanbul airport, a brutal attack there. Any connection at all to that, do you think, here?
Well, I think it's too soon to tell. I think if this is an ISIS attack in Bangladesh, we might be seeing not only a quickening of the pace of these attacks from ISIS well beyond Iraq and Syria, but you may be seeing more coordinated attacks out of their headquarters in Raqqa, Syria. Certainly that's what you saw in Paris and Brussels. It appears to be what happened in Turkey. We'll just have to see how much this was a directed attack in Dhaka out of Syria and out of ISIS's homeland, or if it comes from al-Qaeda, whether it came out of Afghanistan or Pakistan.
Whenever something happens overseas, I think there's a natural inclination to worry about what could happen here in the United States. Going into this holiday weekend, are there any credible threats that the United States is looking at?
Nothing that I've heard or seen, Vanita, and U.S. officials are watching this very carefully, as you reported. But certainly, U.S. officials are worried about the demonstration effect here, the fact that individuals might be inspired. And so this is a weekend to not only celebrate the July 4th weekend, but certainly to remain vigilant and see something, say something becomes a mantra you've got to take very seriously. So everyone enjoy the weekend, but be vigilant.
Yeah, it's frightening to think this inspires some people. Juan Zarate in Washington, thank you.